In this video, I'm going to show you how to take these products and make some very nice DIY body butters. So if you'd like to see how I did this, stick around for this video. Hey YouTube! So today in this video, I am going to be making some body butters. And I love body butters. I usually buy them when I go to like pop-up shops to support local businesses, or I order them online. But I'm all out of it, and I was just thinking, like, why not make some, you know, just to see how it works out. I've been watching some videos, doing some research, so I'm very interested in this. So really quickly, because I want to go ahead and get started, I want to go ahead and just go over what I have here. Some of these I purchased from a health food store. So I have this huge tub of organic virgin coconut oil, and I purchased that from Costco. Now these three here, I purchased these from a health food store, and I have some avocado oil. This is avocado oil. I have castor oil, and I have some liquid lanolin oil. I'm just now getting hip to this one. I saw this and I was reading up on it. I was talking to the lady in the store about it, and I was like, let me try this out. It's really pricey too. The bigger one was like $30-something, but I read it, and I guess it comes from Sheets, but it says that it's for 100% pure intense protection for rough, dry lips and skin. So my hands get really dry because I wash them quite a bit. So it's like a really good deep moisturizer. So I'm going to use a little bit of that as well. Then from Amazon, I purchased some vitamin E oil, which is really good for your skin as well. And I have a hand blender, but I noticed that some people use a regular kitchen mixer. If this is too small or it's not working out for me, I'll just switch over to like a little hand mixer that you use for baking. I have some arrowroot powder. Now, I don't think this is 100% necessary. This is what you would put in just to make it have that nice fluffy whipped look, but you don't necessarily have to use this. But I purchased off Amazon because I want mine to have that nice smooth whipped look. I have 1 pound of mango butter. I purchased this off of Amazon, and I want to say this stuff isn't really too expensive, but once you add everything up, it probably is about 50 bucks. Well, no, the oils alone, these oils alone are almost about $30. These oils alone right here are $30. This big tub was probably about 10 bucks. So coconut oil is very affordable. This arrowroot powder, I want to say, was about maybe $12 or less. I'll have links to where everything I purchased. I bought this a year ago. I wanted to make body butter a year ago and just never did it. So I want to say this is no more than 20 bucks. This probably is about $15 on Amazon. So yes, I have mango butter, and I also have some raw shea butter, unrefined raw shea butter. Another thing too, my son goes through a lot of like shea butter or like Cetaphil products because he has dry skin. He also has eczema. So I was like, why not make his body butters for him? I won't put any fragrance or any dyes in his, but I want to make him his own as well. Now this isn't necessary or a requirement, but I already have these already because I made some. What did I make with this? I forgot what I made that I use these for, but this came from Amazon as well for probably about $14. And these are your fragrant scents. These are your fragrant oils. So you'll add a little bit of these just to give it a little fragrance. So I'll decide which one I'll use of that. Oh, and you don't have to color yours, but I will. And I have some mica powders. So I have a few colors here, and that's what I'm going to be using. And I have this really pretty purple. Okay. And I have my scale here. Now, I'm going to be pretty much eyeballing this, but I will measure out a few things. I know some people like to have exact numbers. So what I'm going to do, I have this pot because I don't have like a bowl big enough. I have a bowl, but it's too big to create a boiler method. So what I'll do first, we're going to create a boiler method. Oh, and I have piping bags that I purchased from Amazon. I guess these are reusable. It came with 2 silicone piping bags, and then it has a little piece that you put on there. I'll show you later how to attach the piece. Okay, so I'm going to cut on my scale here. So I have this. Of course, this has weight to it. So what you do is you put that on your scale and you go ahead and you, I guess, tear it out. I guess that's what it's called. It's the term for, I guess, well, you zero it out so it's not like it's anything on here. And I'm going to be using grams. Or should I use ounces? I'm going to use ounces, okay? So I'm going to get started by weighing out my mango butter. 2 pounds of the mango butter. And just to make this simple, I'm not even going to use my scale right now because look, this is 1 pound right here. This is 1 pound. I have my pot that I'm going to be using. And the shea butter, this is just 1 pound here. So I'm going to use half of it. I'm just going to break off half. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And we're going to dump that right on in here. And we're going to get this double boiler going. So if you have a double boiler, that's wonderful. But I'm going to use a pot, and I have a bigger pot with the water already going very nice and hot. Well, you don't want to have it too hot. So it's going to be like on a medium heat. And I'm going to stir it until it melts down. This is the mango butter. Like cocoa butter. And then I'm going to drop in a half of the shea butter. And I'm going to show you how it's going to start to boil down. Okay, so this is the mango butter and the shea butter. I have it on the stove. I created the double boiler method that I told you about by adding a bigger pot at the bottom with boiling water on like a medium-low temperature. Now I'm just stirring it up, and slowly but surely it will begin to melt. And after a few minutes, it melted down all the way. Okay, so I have the butter here. This is the shea butter and this is the mango butter. Now, this is my first time doing this. I was supposed to put the carrier oils in it before I melted it down. I feel like it should be okay because the only oils that I see people say has to be added while it's hot or warm is the vitamin E oil. So right now, I'm going to switch this over to a bigger, because I melted so much of the butter. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here, about half. So I'll start with that, what I have right there. We'll do a little bit more. So I'll have 2 different batches just to kind of compare. While I'm showing you the oils I'm using, you can feel free to research whatever oils you'd like to add to your own body butter. Okay, so this is approximately 2 ounces of the castor oil. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that right in. Of avocado oil. One ounce of lanolin oil, and this says it's going to be approximately a little over an ounce of the coconut oil. I'm going to go ahead and melt this down, and then I'll pour this in. Okay, I warmed up the coconut oil, and I'm just trying to not put those harder pieces that didn't melt all the way down in there. Hope you can see that. And I'm not going to measure the vitamin E oil. I'm just going to do a small squirt because I see people just putting just a little bit in there. If I decide to do this again, I'll get more particular about the measurements, because some people just be so into measurements. But a lot of times I like to kind of gauge it, eyeball it myself, I think. Because people like there's different consistencies. I don't like a watery body butter. I like a thick one, to where you gotta like put your hand in it and like break it a little bit. I don't mind that. Or I don't mind mine being just a thicker. I just don't like it watery. So that's what I'm going for. So I'm just gonna pour just a little bit. That's gonna be less than an ounce. And vitamin E oil is so good for your skin. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and stir this up, and then what we'll do, some people put theirs in the freezer. This bowl is way too big to go into the freezer, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator for probably about an hour and let it not get too hard but settled enough to where I can go ahead and start to blend it with my hand blender. Okay, so while I have the other batch of the body butter in the refrigerator cooling so I can go ahead and start to whip that, I decided I'm going to go ahead and use this batch now so I can have two different recipes out the different consistencies of it and see which one I like. So for this one, I'm just going to fast forward through this, but for this one I'm going to use 2 ounces of oil instead of just the 1 ounce in this batch. Okay, so instead of doing 2 ounces, I changed my mind. That seems like that's way too much for the amount of butter that I have in here. So I just did 1 ounce and 1.20 ounce. I'm going to put just a squirt of the vitamin E oil. Okay. Give this a stir. And then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator so it can cool down, so it'll be ready for me to go ahead and blend it. Remember, the one in this pot is my second batch that has slightly more oils in it. The first one has 1 ounce of oils. The other ones have, this one has 1.2 ounce. Just want to see if there's a difference. Now it has solidified. This was in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes, and it's where I need it to be. Gonna go ahead and open up this Americana Collection hand blender. This is what the hand blender looks like. I've already rinsed off the blade and dried it. I'm gonna go ahead and just, so the blender has been put together. I'm gonna go ahead.
Although this hand blender was pretty nice and it was a decent price, I just felt like I needed more power and it just didn't do it for me.
I just felt like I needed a little bit more power, especially for the parts that were still more solidified. So here I am with my blender. Okay, so I'm going to start off with 2 teaspoons of arrowroot powder. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure how much I'm supposed to put in here, but I've seen people use like a whole cup of it. So I figure if I start out with a little bit, and then maybe, from the looks of it, I feel like it doesn't really need to have it. But if it could be a little more fluffier, you know, why not? So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Two and a half.
From the research I've done, people did blend theirs at least 20 minutes.
More of castor oil and take my little spatula here and get that off the sides here. Separate mixing bowl that I sanitized already. I'm gonna put a small amount in there and make a small jar of this for my son. His is gonna have some gold mica powder in it with maybe a little pinch of the rosemary fragrant oil, because he didn't really want the fruity smells in his. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think it has a nice texture. I don't know why I thought it would be a little thicker, because I have some that's a lot thicker, but I think this will be fine. So I'll start with that. Okay.
If you want your color to show up darker, you may have to use a little bit more mica powder. At first I couldn't see the green, but eventually it showed up.
So here is the 2-ounce jar that I'm going to be adding the body butter in. No, I'm sorry, this is a 4-ounce jar, excuse me. And it has a lid that has the seal in it. And I'm just gonna go ahead Try to push that down. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I was recording. Somehow I could have swore I was recording, but I wasn't. I've already started, but this is how it's looking going in.
Okay, so for me, there was a lot of struggle involved with piping these jars, which should have been a lot easier, and I should have knew something was up. But after I filmed this video, I learned that I did have my piping metal tip on wrong. So there's supposed to be a plastic piece on the outside. I had everything all together, all on the inside of this piping bag. So that was really kind of like a headache. So just to let you know, make sure you put your piping tip on and your bag together properly so you don't run into those issues that I had. After squeezing extremely hard, I was able to get it to come out, but there was so much pressure built up from me not having it set up correctly. So, you know, that's a part of learning as you go.
Now I see, you can see a little mint green in there. Make sure it's nice and settled, and wow, I actually did it. I am so happy I did it. Okay, so I added a decal to the top. I used my Silhouette Cameo to do so. This is the logo for our family business, crtacticaldefense.com. We do sell tactical belts, belly bands, belly band gun holsters, in waistband gun holsters, and a lot more. And I put his name across the front. So this is his little personal body butter for my son. And I'm gonna give it to him and see what he thinks about it. The rosemary smell didn't come up too powerful, but it's cool. And then I'm gonna continue on because I want the rest of these to be really cute for a little bit. I noticed that it hardened up. It has that harder consistency that I want. Added apple to the remaining in here, and then I took some and put some in here. Watermelon is in the pink colored one. Well, it's red, so it's gonna be red and purple, I guess. I was hoping I had a pink, but I don't have a pink, so it'll have to do. So I'm gonna put some purple. A little bit. I did add a little pinch of oil. So here we go.
So I wanted like a pinkish and a lavender color. You can add more mica powder to it if necessary. The colors didn't come out exactly how I wanted them, but they weren't horrible. But you could just add a little bit more if you want the color to be a little deeper. And now I'm going to show you how I tried to use the cling and seal method, or the press and seal method, by adding the two colors inside of one piping bag. And I think I kind of had the right idea, but what kind of messed it up for me is, again, my piping bag tips were wrong. So what I'm doing is I'm laying out this press and seal. I am going to put on both of the colors on the same piece of plastic, so that when they come out, I wanted them to be like a nice swirl of both colors, instead of have to use more piping bags. Because remind you, I still have the other piping bag with the light green in it that I use for my sons. Then I had to take this apart and redo it because I didn't have it lined up right. I should have had it side by side the other direction. Instead, I had it in front of each other. But I'm going to try my best to get this to work out. But again, this was very hard. And as you can see, I put everything together and then put it through. What you want to do is just put the first two pieces together, and then you would screw on the plastic piece outside of the bag. So that's where I messed up. But it's fine because I learned from my mistake. And that's what happens. You make mistakes and you learn from them, so you'll get better. So here is when I tried to reposition how I had the body butters. And they're nice and thick. I love this consistency. And yeah, I'm trying to get it right here. Again, this is just another reminder to make sure that you do have your tips set up properly on your piping bag. And I got these from Amazon and they are reusable. So if you want to reuse them, what you do is you just clean them out with some really good Dawn soap. Wash out all that oil and grease and wipe them off really good, and you're good to go. After squeezing the daylights out of this, it finally came out pretty smooth eventually, but it was still difficult. I shouldn't have had so much pushback. But as you can see, the colors didn't swirl like how I wanted them to. It didn't come out like how the pros do. Like on the videos I watched, theirs was just flowing out so effortlessly, coming out looking like ice cream. But eventually I will get to that point. But I still do like how it came out.
When I say my hands hurt from trying to push this in here, I don't know if the hole on here is too little, if this is too thick. I know I put the saran wrap on it to try to mix the two colors. That didn't come out how I wanted it. But you know, this is a do-it-yourself, DIY, and sometimes things don't always go as planned. But when I say my hands are sore, I was squeezing this with all my might to get this to come out. That's why I had to do some off camera. So I'm gonna keep going, and maybe they'll get more swirlier with the two colors. But it's in there. I like the consistency, I like the texture, but this is definitely not as easy as I thought. But I'll definitely figure out how to make it easier the next time.
Oh, and give me a little grace on this camera angle. My arm was like all in the way. I'll try to make sure I film it at a better angle next time. And also, let me just let you know, this will be a two-part video. So on this video, I'm showing you how I made them and my mistakes and my struggles and everything. But on my next body butter video, you do not want to miss that, because I'm going to show you how I'm going to completely transform these jars, because these were gifts and they are going to be so glamorous, like something you've never seen before. And these are what I was able to fill up. And I had this cute little sample size jar, thank goodness, because it worked out perfectly. And here are the body butters. And I'm just going to go ahead and just show you how I'm going to put the lids on. And so basically I was able to get I was able to get 5 4-ounce jars full and a little small 2-ounce. That's either a 2-ounce or a 1-ounce jar. So that's what I was able to get. Remind you, I do still have the other half of the recipe in the refrigerator, and I'm going to show you that being made in another video. I'm going to add a different amount of oils. So I'm just adding on the lids to these jars, and you can go ahead and use these as is. Again, these were gifts, and then I made one for my 8-year-old daughter and my 14-year-old son. I didn't even make myself one yet. I want to make myself one. Again, you have to stay tuned for my next video. So you guys, here is the final finished result of the body butters. They turned out really good. They gave me a little bit of pushback, a run for my money, but I'm very happy and pleased with the outcome. Now, I really hope you guys did find this video helpful and useful to you. And I really did enjoy making these. I understand where I made my mistakes. So the next time that I make more, I feel like I'll be a lot better off. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Once you make yours, I hope you do enjoy them. Really figure out and research the oils that you're going to use. And also the colors you want to use, the fragrances you want to use. A lot of that stuff isn't necessary. You don't have to do that. You don't have to add any coloring. You could just make it for yourself, make it scentless and colorless. But you can do so much with these, you guys, especially what you see what I did to these jars. It's going to absolutely blow you away. But thanks you guys for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Life is a Whole Vibe. Thanks again for watching, you guys. Bye-bye. Check out our website, myroyalradiance.com, and we do carry faux leather inspired designer fabric for your crafting needs, luxury inspired croc charms, as well as iron-on patches and much more. Enjoy the coupon code MyRoyalBeauty10OFF. Check out our website, crtacticaldefense.com, where we do sell in-waistband gun holsters, belly band holsters, and many more. Please check out my discount code VIBES for a special discount for my subscribers.